I think with the education and marriage rates, so I don't know if you've read the bell curve, but one of the things that Charles Murray talks about is how obviously IQ and especially higher education is correlated, and they do find that consistently women who are like they have more advanced degrees, more years in school, they are less likely to get married than women who are less educated and who kind of proportionally obviously have lower IQs. And it's a problem that he's writing about because we almost have a sort of a dysgenics going on.
He's the one who did the race and IQ too, right, Charles?
Yeah, well, the bell curve is
Jasmine,
wow, they're going for you, Jasmine.
To argue that hypergamy is
try to keep it polite, guys.
Only are the top earners and top earners in general are a small percentage of the population. Your generalization is extremely flawed because of this.
So I guess, yes, I understand that what I was arguing when I said that was about the top percentages of society, but in general, people do date across. So McDonald's workers are more likely to date someone else in the fast food industry. They're not just not dating. And I was saying lawyers, because that's the only experience I've had really outside of OnlyFans, they tend to date and marry other lawyers. Like 18 couples from my law school got married. That's just how people normally mate. And lawyers do, on average, and marry other lawyers more than they marry women in any other profession.
Well, you mentioned proximity. That would make sense because it's not just a shared commonality.
Proximity is one thing, but like for instance, you hear this in the manosphere a lot, like, oh, men don't care. They'll marry a girl out of CVS or a hot girl off Instagram.
Yeah, they will.
No, but maybe in podcasts, like world and whatever,
no.
but lawyers in general, like if I was hanging out with a group of my friends, lawyer friends, and
Sealison donated $150. Brian, you should get it there and act on your show. He lives in LA, has a following, would school these girls, and I'm pretty sure he can bring girls onto the show too.
Okay, I'll thank you very much for your donation. Appreciate it. I'll check him out on Instagram, The Real Natch. Thank you, man.
As I was saying, you won't see somebody bring like, oh, I'm bringing my new girlfriend along. We'd be like, great. And then she'd come and he's like, oh, this is 18-year-old hot chick I met off Instagram. We'd be like, it's just so not a thing. Like they're usually, and they don't have to be other lawyers. They could be working with special needs kids, whatever, but they're not bagging the hot 18-year-old from CVS. At least educated populations don't generally do that. Unless the only exception I would say is if they're really religious, like if they're Mormons, like there was a ton of Mormons in my law school, and they will marry like a homemaker and whatever. They'll do that, so but they won't marry hot Instagram girls or girls that work at Taco Bell. It's just not.
But do you think men are particularly preoccupied with, in terms of something being an attraction trigger, do you think men are particularly attracted to a woman's success or her money?
You're going to hate me, but new studies do indicate they do, especially even Buss, who's like the manosphere evolutionary psychologist God, has found this. The work of Corinne has showed that women, they've done studies now where they put like on dating apps, they've taken like millions of users and they'll put a face for both men and women and then income, and they find both genders tend to find people more attractive when they had higher income. So you could look this up. Corinne's
I haven't seen that particular study, but...
Yeah, because you've only seen the studies that you like. And I've seen your studies and my studies because I had to know yours to be able to check on it.
So you think that...
I still think men care less than women care.
Okay.
But I think things are changing and men are starting to care more and more as we're moving towards more of an egalitarian society.
Mazak87 donated $100. You're a lawyer that makes bank off of and probably hooks up with high-quality men. What do you know about the average person working the average job? You have no clue how us normal folks live.
Incorrect, which is not surprising.
Are you a normal folk?
What, am I supposed to respond to this?
Yeah, that's a question.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not a normal folk, and I admit that. So probably, like, especially if I talk about my personal experiences, I'm in a bubble, and I was definitely in a bubble when it comes to academia. That's why I'm shocked at how many of people in this sphere don't have basic English skills. I can't even use, like, this is stuff we learned in 5th grade. So I was very oblivious to this, and I will admit that. However, however, a lot of the stuff I'm talking about, I've researched this stuff a lot because I didn't want to just come on here and be one of these girls. Like, I feel like this show is just like, what do you think? I don't know, what do you think? Well, there's data on this, and that's a better indicator than what we all think based off our personal experiences, because that could be biased. Like for me, I'm around being a certain type of person that knows how to spell and read and write, and now most of the internet I'm around doesn't.
Well, I mean, to get back to the income with dating issue, I could totally believe that maybe nowadays men are starting to be like, okay, if we're going to need two incomes, maybe it's good that she's able to make money. But I think there's also still studies out there that show that men are actually less attracted to women if she makes more than them. Like after a certain point, the money, the success the woman has can actually be repellent to at least some men.
That's true. That's true that some men do still feel that way, and even some women feel that way. And that's one of the things I think we should change
Women
as a
feel
culture.
what?
That they don't like making more than their
yeah.
than their spouse, and men also can feel emasculated by that. That is one of the things I think we should change. I don't think it should be a big deal. It's just about what works for you and your family.
Okay, you said a lot of stuff. So I haven't seen the studies that you're referencing, but this idea...
We can pull them up. Which one?
Huh?
Which one?
I don't know, but you're asserting that men care deeply about a woman's success or
I didn't say
income.
deeply. I said that they're showing now that men overall do care about income, and that's changing because
But much less than women care about
less
it.
than women, yes. But that's a
Okay.
shift we're seeing as society is changing.
Bender the Offender donated
Thank you, Bender.
$99. Jasmine, no rational person would want to hire a lawyer that does and only cares about her own interests.
Yeah, I don't want to get hired by a firm. If I did, I wouldn't have quit.